Hi everyone. I'm going to be continuing from the video clip for yesterday. So this here was yesterday's video clip. I just feel in my heart today I will be keeping our evidence in the moment for Henry Cavill and myself set of circumstances with both him and I. Life is in serious life and death situation in his world and in my world, but I'm actually more safer than he is, and I'm more concerned for the safety of him and his mum and the situation that encompasses him in his country. So I will just continue with this video clip as per usual with an introduction and then straight onto the topic that's on my heart today. So welcome to Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur. My name is Mina. Today's date is the 8th of April 2025. So on my video YouTube channel and all my video clips, I'm actually the narrator. It is all about me, okay? So I'm the narrator for every single video clip. So it's all my ideas. It's all about my identity, my entity, and it's also to do with my intellectual property, life of the person, meaning the facts of life, and my facts in my court case actually coming live, and me actually talking about it in my own words. So anything that we own as an individual is our personal and private property. So anything tangible is property that belongs to the individual. That is theirs legally by law. The existence of the person belongs to the individual. So meaning if people have secretly stolen your character, or secretly stolen your energy, or secretly stolen your life, or secretly stolen anything in regards to relationships, anything like that, that is a crime. Okay, so my case is definitely a criminal, a very, very serious New Age conspiracy criminal case involving several perpetrators. It's a global Commonwealth game that is actually illegal. So so I'm actually the victim of crimes. I'm self-litigating my case here in my country in New Zealand, and so I am also representing, and I do all the paralegal and the research. So basically everything about my channel is, if you're into criminology, my channel would be the one for you. It's got just about nearly everything and anything. I haven't actually kind of focused on some of the core evidence. I only just touched bases on the video clips, but there are a lot more deeper things that I haven't actually articulated on, because I'm only just using my video clip as evidence for my court case. I am the victim of crimes. I'm also what they would call a whistleblower. So for those that don't know what a whistleblower is, I didn't know what a whistleblower was either. I mean, I did because I've heard of the name, blah, 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 blah. I've never really really realized why was a person called, why is whistleblowing called whistleblowing, but from personal experience, and I can understand why, it's because the individual is exposing corruption. So that's what you've got to keep in mind. We're dealing with corruption, but this is obviously the New Age system, which anyone who stands up for what is right is too scared to. Either they're too scared to stand up for what is right, or if they do stand up for what is right or oppose anything negative, then the cybercrime, everything that I've gone through, no likely you will go through too. However, I feel that I need to share my story to help everyone, especially with this New Age system. I'm old school, okay? I prefer old school ways better. I don't even like public media or anything. I had to do it because I was it was just a set of circumstances, and I felt in my heart I needed to do what I was doing. And I had actually dedicated my YouTube channel to trafficking victims. One of my girlfriends, who I didn't realize she was being trafficked until I realized after the fact that I have actually been a trafficking victim by force without consent. So basically, it's just to bring everybody into an awareness of the massive changes that can affect anybody and everybody, whether you work for the government or you're in public. So before I carry on, anything also document, like my court case and all my legal documents in regards to my court case, those are also as classified as my personal property. Okay, so anything about me, I say I thought about it, my ideas, that is what you call personal property that the individual actually owns. Okay, so I'm going to try and keep my video clips short. Just for those that are new on board, I'm being definitely used for relationship scams historically, and that is very evidential in my court case, okay, in my personal profile historically. So I'm up against those within the government who's actually broken laws. So in my case, the defendant is actually the Crown. If you don't know who the Crown is the government, okay? So, but the defendants, they are actually representing the defendants rather than the victim, okay? So, but before all this took place, the game I didn't realize I was subject to, they ruined my reputation without me knowing. I knew in the moment something was radically wrong when I was living a very, very private life and at work, and while I was going to church because I was brought up in church. But I'm so private, and like I'm the type of person like going back, I'm just trying to describe how it was for me before I actually lost my privacy. But I'm one of these people who would get up really early hours. I've always been a early morning kind of a person. And I was always self-disciplined with exercise, so I'm a early morning person anyway, ever since I was a child, and as time went on, I continued on being an early bird person. I'm not really a night owl; I'm more an early bird person. So I would, as time went on and as I matured and stuff in life, I would always fit in my, usual walking. I loved my exercises and stuff, so I was very committed to all that. But I would get up like about 4:45 in the morning, or maybe a little bit earlier than that, and then I would go for walks early hours in the morning by myself. So that's how confident I am with, like as an individual. And back then there was wasn't going through any stalking problems or public anything like I am since I lost my privacy. So do know the difference when you lose your privacy and when you don't. But before I lost my privacy, that's the kind of individual I am and still am. I'm an introvert. I love my space. I love being by myself. That's just part of my culture. But I just use that as a description of how disciplined kind of a person I am before, life changes, things changes, and you've got to change with the times. You can't do what you used to be able to do anymore because this, the system has changed, this generation has changed, and it's not really safe anymore, just to actually go out 4:45 in the morning in the dark for 45-minute power walking, because that's the kind of person I was, and I did that consistently for probably 5-6 days a week. But that's just a description of what I used to do quite often as part of my routine, as part of my own discipline as an individual. And this also included everything else I was going through. But as time changed, circumstance changed. But I'm still the same person. I've just been through so much. So I'll just carry on with this. Right. So I'll just try and keep this my introduction short, but I'd just like to use the posts as a description to get you all into where I'm coming from my perspective as the victim of crimes and what I have been through as an individual. Okay, so I've been used like a product. First of all, they did do an illegal scientific experiment on me, linking to the church that I was brought up to. All started from privacy breaches. So eventually, once your person's privacy is gone, then obviously home invasion takes place and other very, very serious and things happen within the individual's private space. However, they did happen, and so after the fact they can still be proven and dealt with legally in the criminal's jurisdiction. So I have been used like a product, and my personal experience being used, they are animate or inanimate. If you watch the other video clips and following me, you'd know that by what it is by now. So that kind of like hasn't stopped. What I have found really freaky about the whole experience is that I have known that people were doing proxy hacking from across the street or doing proxy hacking from next door. And I felt that the enemy or the opposing allies were having full access to everything I'm doing. And then this is all consistent with the following and the stalking and the public everything and the coding. But I didn't really realize how enormous or the enormity of everything I'd gone through until after the fact. And when I put the evidence together, and even now, because I'm actually healing, after the fact, like basically healing mentally and spiritually, and I'm still quite, there's a lot of setbacks. I've been through quite a bit, but just the reflection of what I've gone through, and when I actually look at what I've gone through, I was like, how the heck did I even come out of that alive? Like, I just know I shouldn't be alive, okay? But was definitely, I'm a witness to trafficking in persons and being used for illegal commonwealth. When they use you for a product, they've taken the person's liberty, human rights, and the Bill of Rights away. So that's what clearly reveals in my court case historically. And then other people, the reason why people are in your space, it is because you've been used for a Commonwealth game or for some kind of relationships game or money laundering, anything. So I have found it really frustrating because I'm the type of person, I love my space, but I do not like people in my space that I have not invited. I've known that I have been under micromanaging and surveillance, and I don't like that either because, for obvious reasons, because I like my privacy. But, time have shown that I have definitely been used globally, illegally, against my will. So I thought I'd just continue. The intimacy is so illegal, okay? So to undo anyone who's gone through what I have gone through, they have to find out who was a person that would been used as a substitute. Okay, so what I've gone through, it's actually been illegal in every single generation. Okay, but this system and the technologies have tried to modernize the system to allow illegal games on innocent civilians who don't even know they're actually targeted or even in danger. I mean, the game is done where other people are actually watching, okay, who's going to live, who's going to die. Okay, but so this is where the relationship scam has come from, and it's all linked to my court cases, and that's exactly what's my court case, what's actually happened to me, and this also explains the unlawful strikes. Okay, so the court system's diverted in this matter, but me being the victim, for them to be able to have the upper hand on everything, they've glued themselves to me. Okay, so the people that are in the relationship are representing the opposing allies, okay? But there have been several perpetrators. There have been other linked to me. So I've always known that, and words cannot describe how frustrating it has been for me. I feel so violated. It's just horrific. But however, I'm a survivor of it, so I will just describe it as from my own point of view, what I've gone through. But the danger and what I have found is that because I was brought up more of a culture where everyone was sheltered. We were brought up, we had TV and that, but I never really had time to watch television, even when I had my kids. We just didn't really have time because I was always busy. I wasn't even really into it, watching, when I had a family, because I was just too busy. My schedule was so busy. I was one of these people that could, just, I don't know, I just have all this energy that I'm able to, I'm quite disciplined, and I can actually stay up, really late. It doesn't matter. I don't know. It's just the way I'm being discipline, and just everything that I've gone through has all had been a part of what has helped me handle and tackle life's issues and problems the way that I have, and without allowing myself to get to a point, depression, and like we all get there. I get there too, but it's just a matter of getting yourself out of it. But this system does do that. Okay, does get people into a very discouraging mode. They think that they are actually cursed, or and everything's negative, but it's quite clear, and I can actually prove that I've been subject to a black market system. So it's very likely you're going through the same thing. I really do feel sorry for anyone who gets trapped in it, but so I thought, sharing my story will help other people just to think outside the box, and knowledge is power. But this is the new age illegal Commonwealth game that I've been subject to. So they are capturing every single word. They're listening to me in my home. They're recording when I go out. This is consistent with the stalking. They're repeating my words. The people I speak to are being used by the opponent, basically. And then they've actually made me eat my word. Like anything positive, they'll ruin it or destroy it, or give the positive, whatever it is, to the substitute. Okay, so this is why I'm doing the opposing everything publicly, because it's a conspiracy. It doesn't matter what culture is doing it around the world or what nation is doing it. It's a conspiracy. It's illegal, and if there's sufficient evidence to prove that you're stealing and doing conspiracy crimes indirectly, it's still a crime, and you can still be prosecuted after the fact or during the process. But anyway, I'll just carry on. Okay, what I have found with this system, they are actually gluing themselves to those that are targeted, okay? So they can use your neighbors, they're hacking, they're listening, using devices to listen to your private business. They're breaking every single law in the book. That's illegal. Okay, and then they glue themselves or use lookalikes to pretend to be the original. Okay, so this is what I believe what happened to me while I was working for my employer, and I can actually confirm all that now, and I'm absolutely without a shadow of doubt. I know all these things did happen, and that's what happened. But what they actually do after they steal, after they contaminate your private life and make themselves linked to your family, friends, and everything else, the originals that are actually targeted are actually exploited. So the public, or the opposing allies, or whoever's behind the initiating and the perpetrators, are coding individuals and their family, and this is where you get people just turning up you don't even know why they're there, or act strange like they're zombie, just weird. You just know that they know you're there, and they pretend that they don't know you're doing, they try and act natural and civil, but they're actually being a spy, or you just know. Okay, so but what the system is actually doing, if you're not into social media, and I think Henry Cavill is actually a very good example, and maybe even, Pastor King and what I went through at church, is the fact that while we're all minding our own business, blah, 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 people, other cultures, other religions are actually gluing themselves to us as an individuals, and then they are actually secretly animating us, and then animating like there's several perpetrators or people being used. So that is what I'm going through. Okay, this is the new age conspiracy system that is absolutely serious, because it's global. Okay, it's a criminal case. It's illegal. No matter how the conspiracy is committed, it's illegal. If individuals have lost or has been hurt or harmed, or people are stealing off them, and just where they've been literally and clearly, you can see that they've been discriminated against and set back. Everything hits a brick wall. It's, they're discouraged. They don't know what to do about it. It's really painful time for individuals that go through it. I know, because I've been through it myself. Okay. So character assassin has taken place, so defamation, but this is all from the illegal public scrutiny and the inciting publicly, letting everyone know globally, and then that's quite serious. All right, it's an indirect public conspiracy, and so I'm just dealing with mine head on as I'm moved to, for the sake of my court case, and for the sake of those that are actually watching me. Okay, as you know, I'm a Christian. I believe that if you're a double-minded, like this here is actually our verse, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And I like this verse, because it kind of explains, like, you're either a double-minded person or you're not. So I'm very black and white. I'm one of these people that you just know where I'm at. Okay, so like I said, I'm also straight. I'm not gay. Okay, I'm not. I'm a straightforward person. So, like I said, I'm old school. But you would never find me the type of person who has a personality where I'll play a game. Like, I just, like I said, I don't have that kind of a personality. That I actually. Find bullying funny, or watching other innocent civilians being hurt or anything. I don't find, I just, that's just not my personality. So I'm really very, very black and white in personality. I do have a sense of humour. It just depends what mood I'm in. But on the professional level, I'm very serious human being, and also I take law-breaking incidents quite serious, like what I've gone through, and so I guess my video clip is for those who are interested in the truth and stuff like that. Like I said, I'm straight. I'm probably boring to some people, but that is my personality. Okay. Like I said, I'm an introvert. I am one of these people. I've always been super independent. I do everything myself. Okay. So because that was just my background, that's just circumstances, that's just the way it was for me, and I've had to do everything myself, and I'm still like that. I still prefer to do things myself, even though I got a lot of options and stuff like that, but so that is my personality. So if for other people that they don't do things themselves, that's quite obvious, but that's their culture and that's their background. Okay, so keep in mind that the game is actually global. It's espionage, it's Big Brother, it's illegal, it's a sport. It also means the original are caved in, trapped, like what I've gone through, but some of them don't even know it. I already know it. But if you are going through anything I'm going through, it's because you are going through what I'm going through, where you're being micromanaged and monitored by people you don't know. And it's quite likely nothing is natural. But it is still a penalty of 14 years imprisonment if you can prove that what has actually happened to you is very serious crimes. Prosecution can still be laid against body corporates at any point in time, before or after the fact. So just keep in mind, it is a global game, it is a global commonwealth. And I have always known somebody overseas was monitoring me, but I just didn't know there were a lot of psychological indirect signs to show to let me know, and I just know in my spirit something's not right, but I've just ignored it, and because it didn't make sense to me why all these things were, but now it does. Okay, so there's a time for everything. Okay, so we're now dealing this New Age system. If you're watching the other clips, I've been going over the laws. I recommend my clips if you know, even just for common knowledge for yourself, if you're not interested in law or anything, but just to get some kind of understanding of what I've gone through, because what I've gone through are the kind of things that it's your word against theirs. Okay, so I'm being trafficked against people who have micromanaged me and wants to play God with me, and they've glued themselves to me, diverting everything to another person with the intention to actually eliminating me forever, and deleting any evidence that actually clearly reveals serious conspiracy crimes on a victim. But the diversion can be anyone around the world, okay? So we're dealing with criminal body corporate offences, and criminal liability can still take place internationally, even here in New Zealand. Our government has their own way of dealing with things. If they don't, I'm quite sure they'll get onto it. But God has definitely been using me to reveal what is actually a real serious home invasion involving conspiracy and using relationship scams and just everything linking to the court system, and it's absolutely serious. I've also had the privilege of actually experiencing how the actual criminal system works, and it's actually not good. It's not safe for anybody, but I am going through it as part of of my journey at this point in time. So anything linking to anybody globally and is linked to a conspiracy, those body corporates can still be made accountable, even though they're overseas. But this is quite serious, because we're all forced to go online and everything. So we can all get attacked from anybody around the world. This post here is a good post to actually discuss, to actually reveal how it actually works. So there's this middleman person, okay? I believe I know that I've actually been used like a generator, okay? It's been, words cannot describe how horrific it has been for me. I've suffered greatly, okay? There's a lot of pain and suffering involved, and it's definitely a home invasion cases. But the charges that can actually be laid against the people involved is definitely wounding with intent, okay? Because of all the pain and suffering that the actual originals are going through, okay? So it is definitely a home invasion case. using the relationship scam. So at this point of time, I believe God is using me and Henry Cavill in our love story that is actually genuinely real, okay, versus the conspiracy women that the hate alliances are using, but it's exactly the same tactic. So I guess what God is actually doing is actually revealing how a whole system actually works on one single profile. Okay, so I'll just carry on. So what we're actually dealing with, who is telling the truth, okay? So it's actually my truth versus the opposing allies. And like even the government, only one mainstream should actually be overpowering than the other. And that should be the personality of those who are working in government with integrity and honesty. Obviously not corruption, because then that puts them and even the public at stake. So this is what we're up against. I'm up against that, my truth versus the opposing allies, and the opposing allies are using the relationship scam methods historically. Okay, I just like to, I did this verse up, okay, in the early years when I was a young Christian, when I was just, just researching and getting to know the word and stuff like that for myself. And this was one of the verses that actually I thought was quite fascinating and kind of like, I didn't make sense. Okay, so why did this person wrote this that many years ago, and it didn't make sense? So you got to keep this, the generation is different, okay? And so, but this verse, what fascinated me was this verse. It just meant so much for so many reasons, because I was going through a very personal journey, okay, a very personal journey spiritually, and naturally I was always at warfare, one thing after another, but little did I know that God was actually training me for so many things. But I do honestly believe in God's word, because it was definitely written by men, holy men who were used by God themselves. So, and we've got to keep in mind we're dealing with only just words. So they're not actually just words, they're actually facts, and what the words they actually wrote and whatever happened in their generation. I mean, some of it sounds so far-fetched, but it was their generation, and it is their truth at that time of the generation. So this here, I remember I was just trying to figure out, okay, about this word and this verse in particular, and I can honestly say that when you actually do walk in the Spirit and actually walk with integrity within the Spirit, with your heart clean before God and man, even if man misunderstood you or anything like that, because, God is the one that looks at the heart. And over the years, I've actually seen God move when I haven't even had done anything, and he's actually dealt with my enemies, okay? And he's let me know how, or he's done things. And these kind of things really is like, to me, is like, I just get the goosebump. I fear God in a reverence, in a good way, not a bad way, okay? Because, some things I can't really explain, because spiritual things aren't really easy to explain to those that are carnal or, who don't have faith or believe in God. So, but I'm just sharing my own experience. But I have seen God move, even though I haven't had to do anything. There have been times I have thought, okay, I've done all this, I did this, why this? And I'll question God. But all I know is that I just know when I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing for me, not anybody else, for me. Okay, so my journey belongs to me, not anybody else. And maybe some of the things I am about me you don't like, that is an offense to you, but that's your business. But whatever I am, whatever I do, and whatever that is mine, that is my business. So the difference is that the opposing allies have secretly conspired evil in my space without my consent. Okay, so that is what I'm up against historically, but it's quite clear that this was going on while I was working for the government and also when I was at church. I can't even explain how I know, and just some of the things I sense and some of the things that is revealed to me personally. I can't even put words to it to actually make people understand. All I can say is I just know. Okay. But yeah, I'll just carry on. Okay, I've gone too long already. So I'm going to once again just focus on this. Today I'll be focusing on me and Henry Cavill's situation in the moment, publicly, globally. Because as soon as I put my video clip up, obviously the opposing ally, like I said, they're glued. So it doesn't matter how private we are, they are getting tipped off by the people we are getting served by. So Henry is the original, I'm the original, and this is our situation. It's been AVL to other people. We've got other Henry Cavill that's pretending to be Henry, and then everyone's like, who opposes anyone like me because they oppose Christianity, or they oppose me because of my nationality, or just being racist, and all these things happen. But what has actually happened to me, they've looked at me like an object rather than an actual individual. But the abuse is inhumane, it's illegal, and so I stand against that. But the abuse is actually from the illusion, okay, is the acting of deceiving. It's the illusion in the public arena, secretly, globally, okay? Okay, we know discrimination. Hate has no colour. So I've been opposed for, I don't know, everything under the sun. I don't know why. To the victims, I don't know why. But the main thing is that is important is that our heart is innocent before God and before the law and before man. So we don't really care what anyone else thinks. But you do get opposition if people oppose you. And it's quite clear for anyone who stands against things that are actually wrong. All right, so we're dealing with racism, okay? We're dealing with criminals, overseas and everything. So sorry, you guys, ladies and imposters, you guys are known as a conspiracy or conspirators alliance, and you are actually breaking the law. Versus the original. Okay, so in this case, Henry Cavill and I are actually the original. Okay, we're still in a relationship. We're still very close. And I think we'll always be close no matter what comes in the future because of the way we meet and because God's definitely involved in our relationship. So both Henry and I, or especially me, have been up against a really evil spirit where they don't like the truth. Okay, so basically if you into the truth, or if you're not into the truth, you either like me or you don't. So the game we're dealing with invisible people, okay, and they are killing people's bloodline, which makes it quite serious because they've linked themselves to the originals members of the family. They're members of that, so it's very likely they too are being glued or cloned like I have secretly without them even knowing. That's all part of the game, okay? So we've got all these people call themselves shadow people. The public's all involved. The twinning, the switching, the stalking, everything takes place within the original set of circumstances 24/7. It is a sport. They love to gloat and they're actually getting satisfaction and actually stealing and not getting caught. They would even kill as part of the game. This is where the car crashes, the big truck crashes, like all these things take place in this Commonwealth game, especially if it's global. Anything is possible. Okay, so definitely I've been used like a product, and then they've used other women to as an animation, okay? So just this morning, I got a notification. I got Amy Denton's video clip. I had a brief listen to it and I showed it to Henry. He hates listening to anything that the media has to say, especially other women. He just can't stand what's going on with him. He's just over it. He doesn't care. But because of our situation, he doesn't realize the seriousness of it. The other people are actually using these women. Okay, they're being groomed, and Amy Denton is definitely one of them. I have to say, guys, I've actually been watching her from the beginning, like in the beginning of me and Henry's relationship. She's always been on the side, but I think Henry's always been targeted for some reason by this female used by his haters. Okay, she's been used and groomed by other people. Maybe she does have a fantasy over him. Maybe it's one of his exes grooming him, but she is being groomed by other men and women in government or in other prominent positions, other millionaires. Basically, I think everyone can actually witness or come clear what we're actually talking about: spiritual warfare in reality, using the misuse of devices, the difference of what is actually real, what is actually not. So what is the truth, what is authentic, and what is not. Okay, this is what how they are cheating and stealing and invading. Secret societies are actually stealing and taking over individuals in their businesses, and even the government. And it's all, they've used other women to represent themselves, secretly animating and breaking the law. But it is a conspiracy crime. Okay, so today I was just listening to Miss Denton's video clip. I think I don't know, she's been groomed by other people, so that's where her confidence come from. I have listened to some of her clips in the past, and I have found her personality very unstable and concerning. Okay, because I also the fact that other powerful people are actually grooming her. So this is what is actually happening here. Okay, other people are grooming other innocent civilians. Maybe she was in the beginning, but she's not anymore. She's well aware of what she's doing, but she's getting her energy, she's getting her confidence from the support of other people supporting her. And the reason why they're doing that, they're trying to defame or destroy any good in regards to what I am saying versus the what's going on also in courts. I hope you can understand where I'm coming from. Okay, but this is what you call spiritual warfare, but it's actually not. It's not because my privacy is already gone. It's not because I'm a left behind case because of a breach. It's not because they've done an illegal scientific experiment on me without my consent. It's not because the justice system has let me down and I've exhausted the system. So it's not nothing about the opposing allies conspiracy. There's nothing about it that is natural. Okay, so obviously if I put this out, she'll probably put out another tape, but she's got, like, she reads cards and stuff, but I've actually listened to her, and she is definitely not Henry's type. Okay, so I'm opposing her because of what I'm going through personally and who she is representing in the same old scenario with Natalie and her imposter boyfriend. Henry and I are both the original. So according to the laws, everyone that is doing what they're doing, opposing us and creating conspiracy crimes, and then him and I are suffering personally in our own little world, trying to go forward the honest way, only to get sabotaged, and they're actually secretly stealing. Okay, they're stealing. So I'll get on to the story now. All right, the most recent scenario is me and Henry's most latest issue with the banks. Okay, so I've actually gone to the banks. He went to BNZ Bank three times, and only he's had issues where nothing had come through. So what I'm actually going through is the people in my space. The first thing they say to me is, "Are you sure you're not being scammed?" Or, "Are you sure?" They ask me, to me as a client, why do you even care if I'm being scammed? Okay, that is none of your business what I do with my money, what I do with my anything to do with me. But I have found these are the kind of tactics, okay, of by these people in the alliance that versus me and Henry. Okay, so they do have their foot in the door in everything him and I are doing. So this is one of the banks recently. He actually put cash in it, okay, and so he was advised that it will go in straight away, and it hasn't. So I've had to go into my bank to follow up. But this is the first time we've actually used this bank because it wasn't working with BNZ for some reason. Henry ended up making a complaint with BNZ, with their bank back in where he is, and apparently the girl got fired or got let go or something or other. But this is just an example of what is actually happening in the front counter, where people are actually locked out. They're not helpful, they're not going to be helpful, and they ask you questions that's not even relevant. All right, so we're keeping it live and real. This is Henry just showing me he had got money out from the bank that he had went to, and he was on his way to go and deposit it. So he went to the other bank and deposit the money straight away into my account, cash. All right, so here was my other instructions I got from the BNZ bank. Okay, so I've had problems with my banks because the micromanaging and everything involving me, they do have access to everything I'm doing, to all my accounts. Okay, so I have had problems with them, but this is the one that the actual BNZ gave me. Okay, I got this off Facebook, and I just wanted to sort of I don't know whether he even realized it, but he was actually being set up in advance. But some of the photos you can actually get by evidence whether a victim has been set up or not is usually you look at the background, okay, because we're talking about psychological and mental abuse and secret society gluing themselves to original people that are actually targeted, okay. So Henry could have been targeted for a very long time, but he didn't know about it. But Amy Denton is representative of a van, okay. I've had her gang members, or her alliance in my space, are using van, letting me know that they're representing her. And there have been times they've been quite rude and hostile in my space. It's intentional. It's a gang-like, and it's indirect abuse on victims, but they do come out when I'm by myself. I was just looking at this photo because I've seen other photos for to know if a victim has been subject to or is maybe a targeted victim, is actually look at the background. And I know that since I've been putting video clips on my Facebook and denouncing some of the background that the government was doing, obviously they stopped, because whether they know that they're actually breaking the law, but they are actually breaking the law, and it has actually stopped because it's quite serious conspiracy. They call it democracy, but no, it's not, okay? From the victim's point of view, you're breaking the law. It's a conspiracy tactic, organized crime, and you're using your occupation or the power of your occupation for the wrong reason, and especially a global game. You're just endangering everyone that you are, playing your games with. But they've stopped. That's actually stopped, but they have used me for that in the past. But I've had to actually stand against it and denounce it. But I think a lot of people didn't realize how serious it was, because it's so easy just to get involved in something, not even realizing you're breaking the law. It's not till I started actually putting out the law, everyone started getting scared. But that's why if you're in government, you need to know your laws, whether you're breaking it or not, or don't even do anything, don't get involved in anything, because one single breach is considered corruption, and you can end up going to jail. But yeah, I've seen like photos like this, and this female, she's been hanging around for a long time, and she's changed her name since. And if you follow all my other video clips, everything I put up is evidence to explain her. Maybe she's just been using it, a foot in the door for fame, okay? But she's definitely not Henry Cavill's real girlfriend. A video clip just came out today. Apparently, she sent it to me. I'm denouncing that, okay? And I'm not fighting over Henry either, by the way, everyone. I'm contesting the criminal alliance and her forcing herself on an innocent civilian. But there's so much about his culture that is, he's definitely a victim to it. But he's definitely not cheating. He's definitely, not seeing this female, nor does he has any intention of actually being with her. But there is a fake Henry Cavill pretending to be him. The danger is that they're actually secretly stealing. That is my massive concern, and what they're doing to me and him as an individual, sabotaging our plans, and like his mother actually got robbed a few weeks ago. So all that kind of thing has been going on, and it's still going on. Okay, so this guy here, he's got long hair. He says he's the real Henry Cavill. He's not. He's the imposter. Okay, so I've been really concerned because Henry did try to save me some money. And like I said, the people in the middle are the ones that are doing the sabotaging. Okay, they've done this with the other women in my past. They've made me the ogre, and then they've diverted all the good, and they're making money or something out of it they benefit from. But that is my massive concern, because Natalie is using the imposter, and yes, our families are definitely involved in some stage, or rather, but they actually don't know the seriousness of our situation. And when people turn things into a public game, and the government is a part of it, people think it's no harm, but it is actually really serious conspiracy. All right, so this is what actually Henry looks like. For those this is how he actually really looks like now. And this is him just texting me just to let me know that he's actually on his way home. And this is him, a fresh look of what he actually looks like. He doesn't have long hair, and he's actually doing quite well, but we're still both not really safe. His situation is not safe. He's not safe until until our plans are actually fulfilled. So this here is actually the real him. He sent me this, letting me know where he's at, and he's on his way home. Okay. I told him because of the bank situation, we need proper investigation, because I felt that how easy it is that they may be stealing the money and giving it to Amy Denton, or pretending that Henry is actually talking to me and not Henry, that Henry is actually not talking to me, but Henry is talking to Amy Denton to get the deviation AVL behind the scene, and it's very likely that they're giving her the money if I don't get it. So, but this is the kind of thing as proof of evidence, okay? It's very serious. This is what happened with Unison Dance Crew going back to 2010. It was my idea. I legalized it. They stole it. They stole my identity, and then they pinned me down where they live off the money, or did whatever they did. Okay, so that is what Natalie is doing. She's pretending she's with Henry, deceiving the public that she's getting married. She's got his baby. It's all a lie, because this here is living proof, I swear on the Bible, is the real Henry Cavill. His life is in danger, and so is mine and his mum. But we are definitely having problems with in between. They're listening, they're reading our texts, okay, they're monitoring. And then they're creating evidence on the surface. So the intimate abuse that they put me through is very hellish. They know it's happening. They think it's funny, but it is a very serious criminal case. So I'll just leave it at that, and I think I'll just finish with a verse. Okay, the secret to a successful Christian life, or a life before God that's with his, to have his favor and his blessing. It's not only because you know him, because God blesses his people anyway. And in his time, his way, we're all used differently. I don't believe I'm cursed or in any way, even though I've had a difficult life. Other people can interpret it that way because I've had a different life to theirs. You know, other people are privileged and born in a life where, you know, they haven't had to worry about problems and just rely on money, blah, blah, blah. But I've had an opposite life. But at the same time, I don't regret my life in so many ways. I don't see life the way other people do, because of the things that God has revealed to me that I would not have, I would not be able to, express. Maybe one day I'll write a book. It's been on my heart to do that, and I will. But I just wanted to finish off with a verse. Okay, guys, before I actually do go on to my verse and finish off there, this here is also evidence that his mum sent me the money, but it didn't come through. Okay, so I'm not being scammed, but the imposter and the people in my environment are trying to make out, they're blocking me and trying to steal the energy and everything involving me and Henry, and pointing it or giving it to Natalie or to Amy Denton or to those other women behind the scene. Okay, so this is what I've been going through historically. That's quite clear. Okay, this is a most recent photo of me. Okay, and so that's what I actually look like now. So if you have access to my Facebook page, I suggest you do. But I think I will just finish my video clip with the verse that's actually on my heart. Okay, I had to turn on the light just so I can read what the verse I want to finish this clip with. And so the secret actually is, okay, it says that if we say we have fellowship with him and we walk in darkness, we lie and do not practice the truth. But if we walk in the light, as he is in the light. Oh goodness, sorry guys, I had a bit of a technical problem. Okay, but if we walk in the light as he is in the light, we have fellowship with one another, and the blood of Jesus Christ cleanses us from all unrighteousness. So I guess from my own personal perspective, is actually about walking in the light. It's about confessing your own sins to God, and everything else is by faith, and it's all part of walking in the Spirit. So I guess what I'm saying is that to actually tackle the enemy and the opposing allies with what they're doing is actually walking in the light, walking in the truth, and having nothing to do with their doing anything wrong against another person. So so I just thought that I've been meditating on that verse a lot, because I was thinking, how did I get this far and still know that I'm definitely in the centre of God's will for me? How did I make it this far knowing I'm still doing God's will, knowing I just know I am, and I don't need confirmation from anybody? But that verse was the highlight of the secret of actually being a godly person. But this system is actually set out where people are committing serious crimes like the secret society, the shadow people, which is serious, okay, that they're actually breaking the law. But these people are committing some pretty serious crime, and then they take it to their grave when, they don't want, then they use the law to cover their sins. But they're pretty big crimes that they're actually committing. But I just personally, from personal experience, the key, I believe, component for a godly person in integrity is actually walking in the light. It's actually confessing your sins before God. I know everyone knows me because of my personality, and I know that you've all seen my old nature. We've all got it. No one's perfect. Everyone's got an old nature. But that is the key, okay? Because this system, they're trying to dress up some religions and cultures. They think that a person has to have a pure life and that they haven't had a dysfunctional life like mine, if you can see the difference. And that they think that a person that, and rightly so, but the moral of the story is God uses the weak and the base. He can use anybody he chooses mightily. The key of a godly life that, as I believe, is powerful, is actually walking in the light. So walking in the light actually means walking in your truth. Okay, there's nothing I've done secretly that anyone can actually condemn me with. So actually confessing your sins, speaking out loud, is walking in the light, and that's how you get God's favor. If you need to go put things right with an individual because you know you've done wrong, then you need to do that. If God tells you to, if God speaks into your heart, you need to do that. Don't be controlled and manipulated by other people to stop you from doing what you feel is right between you and God and that other person. But that is the danger of this New Age system, that the government is allowing, or those who are a part of this system, they're playing games with innocent civilians. Innocent civilians go along with it, and they don't realize that they're actually playing a game that could kill their own family members. Okay, and the game is a sport. It's coded, and everyone that knows about the game they're either the opposition or they're not. But they can just tell just by the way the individuals are being coded globally. It's a global game, which makes it even more serious. Okay, so we'll end it at that. I am denouncing those females, but I think you all can understand what I'm going, and I also need proper investigation into the bank accounts to do with me and Henry, and also because of what I'm going through here, because I've been helping him out financially because of what we're going through. The other thing I have found in my space is the opponent are asking me questions, and I know they're actually linked. So anyone else who's gone through what I've gone through, they need to walk in the footsteps of the victims. They are lying. They're using different people all the time, and some cultures, they don't care about integrity. They don't care or believe in God, and so that is the downfall for those that are actually honest and innocent. But that is what I've gone through personally, is that the front counter, when I do go into the businesses, the front counter, they already know who you are. Sometimes I've got their people there, or they will ask me questions like, for an example, they will say, "Oh, are you aware of scammers?" To me, like, they're asking me a question, and I'm thinking to myself, why do you even care? But this is what I'm saying. It's like it repeats itself, or I've had people lie. So it's like, you can get diagnosed with something, and then they lie, and they say, oh, you've got this, and then everybody else say lie around your environment, and they're trying to get in your mind, and then it's like, who do I listen to, them or myself? So this is where I have learnt the difference of what is natural, what is not. It's a very, very, very serious system that, the corporations are using immature people, to block and to protect them from getting into trouble. So that's how it's been, and this is what happens to anyone that gets locked out. okay? But my case is there's sufficient evidence to actually take everyone involved before and after the fact. Okay, I will leave it at that, and I'll see you in my next clip.